It was Halloween, and it was one of the most memorable nights of my life, as a group of my friends and I were going to a haunted house at the amusement park. My friends knew I was a scaredy cat, so it took a lot of convincing from them to get me to agree to go out with them. There was a huge lineup at the park gate when we arrived, and it took about half an hour before we finally made it inside. Once we were inside, I saw a mini food truck, so I went and got a soda, hoping that it would help distract my mind while I was inside the haunted house. We were now in the line for the haunted house, and I noticed that everyone in front of us wore a Halloween-themed outfit, from animals to celebrity movie characters. I even saw someone dressed as a giant pumpkin. All of them were wearing a mask, so I could only guess who was male or female. We were a group of 6, myself, 4 other girls, and 1 guy. Jess and John were a couple, so they went ahead of us when we got inside. Sarah and Raya, who were sisters, paired off and went their separate ways, so it was just me and Lola remaining. I was surprisingly calm as we walked through the foggy house. Although we were halfway inside, we didn't come across any menacing figures. There were only a few creepy paintings and decorations that we passed by. Lola was quiet, which was unusual for her. I didn't think much of it, as she was probably trying to keep her fear in check like I was. Jen. Jen. I was faintly hearing my name, but I couldn't make out who it was, so I kept walking. Out of curiosity, I looked over my shoulder to check if the person who was calling me would appear, but no such luck. I was so preoccupied with looking behind me that I failed to pay attention to the path in front of me. In an instant, I tripped over an object and fell flat on my face, throwing away the rest of my drink. "Jen, are you all right?" Lola asked. She held out her hand to help me up, and when I took it, in that split second, I noticed that the hand was darker. Did Lola get a tan? And I didn't notice? Jen! This time, my name rang louder, and I immediately recognized the voice. I looked behind and saw Lola was calling out to me. Realization dawned upon me. I turned around and realized Lola wasn't the one who was walking with me. At least, not for a good while. We must have lost track of each other when I stopped to look at the paintings. My blood ran cold when I looked up. The face looking back at me had black eyes, an unusually wide mouth with vampire-like teeth. I screamed a blood-curdling scream as I backed away quickly from the person. Out of nowhere, I see Jess, Sarah, and Raya running toward me. Lola was already closer to my position, so she was the first one to reach me. The others followed suit shortly after. Everyone except Jess tried to calm me down. It surprised me when I heard Jess started laughing. I looked at her as if she had gone mad. "What's so funny?" I asked. "Jen, it's just a prank," Jess said. She approached the scary person standing off to the side observing us and put her hands on both sides of their face. "Jess, what are you doing?" I said in fear. "Don't worry, Jen. It's just John." "John, baby, can you take off your mask now?" said Jess. John wasn't moving. She tried with all her might to take the mask off, but it wouldn't budge. "Ugh, the stupid thing is stuck," said Jess. "Guys, what are you doing?" We all turned to our right to see John staring at us with his mask in hand. Dread set in the pit of my stomach. I turned my head agonizingly slow, hoping that some way, somehow, the scary person wasn't here, that he was just a part of the show, but he was playing his part a little too well. Suddenly, those sharp teeth quickly sunk into Jess's hand as he bit down. Jess's scream carried loudly in the area, almost shattering my eardrum. That was enough to knock all of us out of our senses. John tackled him and sent him tumbling to the ground. The rest of us rushed to get Jess away from that person, creature, or whatever it was. While John was holding the person down, we used that opportunity to get Jess away. As soon as we got outside, we told the crew members standing outside what happened, and they immediately called the park security. The security arrived in little to no time and rushed into the haunted house. One man helped walk John out, who was limping. He must have taken some damage when he fought that person. The emergency response vehicle, along with the police, arrived within 5 minutes. Jess's hand was bleeding a lot, so they went to treat her wounds first. Once we had given our statement to the police, we left the park and Raya drove everyone home. When we each arrived at our destination, we kept our goodbyes brief as we were all still traumatized. The next day, we messaged each other to see how everyone was doing. Sarah said that she and Raya saw on the news that the amusement park was going to be closed for a couple of weeks. The park owner said they needed to close so that everyone could have a mental break after yesterday's state of events. One thing we all agreed on was that we would never visit another haunted house again.